Hi, Austin, Texas. It's time for your housing update for the week of August 1st, 2022. Before diving into this week's numbers, the true value of understanding what these numbers mean to those of us living in Austin, Texas, and for those of us who are thinking about moving to or within Austin, Texas, let me say this. Prices and interest rates go up and down. Yep, I said it. Prices and interest rates go up and down. And while our thoughts and emotions may fluctuate with the market, it's our thoughts that create our feelings and our feelings that create our actions. Are we staying put, buying, selling, leasing in Austin, Texas? Now, the cyclical nature of real estate and stocks are just that, a cycle that continues from one point to the next. So my perspective of the Austin, Texas housing market is not spun by national media. I interpret our market, our hyper-local Austin, Texas housing market based on what homes are selling for, what they're listing for. I preview them. I understand the conditions of the homes and the neighborhoods and the amenity centers and how long houses are on the market for, and so forth. And I tell you what it all means. And more importantly, I offer strategies for my buyers, strategies for my sellers, and strategies for tenants in an always changing market. Because no market can go up on the trajectory we were on nationally, not even Austin, Texas. Right now, our market is stabilizing. If you want to know more, let's dive into this week's numbers. As of Monday, there were 9,034 homes for sale in Austin, Texas, which is our highest inventory number of the year. Woo! This is great news for buyers. If you chose not to participate in the market conditions of the past 18 to 24 months, and the market is still healthy for sellers as we continue to see our home values are way above 2021. Let's get into the numbers on the housing market and their condition, because the media around the globe, as I've said before, time and time again, are having a field day creating stories and boosting their ad revenues. So here's the thing. There are 1,186 new listings that came to the market, which is up from the prior week by 147 homes. There are 1,935 home price decreases, which is 161 more houses that had price decreases last week. There were 1,774 decreases. There are 224 properties that fell out of contract. Now that is barely up. I mean, last week it was 220, so it's basically flat from the previous week. There are 499 properties under contract. There are 469 pending properties for sale. And when we add up the under contract and the pending, we have 968 homes currently in the process of being purchased. We saw 889 homes sold since last week, which is up from the previous week by 149 homes. Now, 226 homes were withdrawn from the market, meaning they are no longer for sale. There are 148 homes that had listings expired, which is up slightly versus last week, and expired literally, and it just means that the house was for sale for a specific period of time and it did not sell. So it is currently off the MLS, which tells us that sellers and their agents who are not following the market closely did not adjust for our current market. That said, where are you right now if you are a seller? Are you adjusting for the market? What's your strategy? Going forward, 110 homes are now on hold, which is basically flat, give or take. I think there's about 27 homes less than there were on hold last week. What does this market mean for Austin, Texas real estate if you're living here versus relocating? Really, whether you're living here now, yay, we love having you in Austin, your home values increase substantially just by waking up in the morning. And if you're thinking about moving here from places like California, New York, Toronto, Colorado, you name it, where you're used to those higher home prices, Austin is in demand for buyers. Sellers continue to sell their home prices well above 2021 and 2020 and any previous year because people are moving to Austin, Texas, and the housing market remains highly valued versus a year ago. People are buying, selling real estate every day here. Let's talk about the Fed. How has the Fed raising rates by 0.75% last week impacted mortgage rates? In an effort to fight inflation, the Fed raised the rate last week, and this affects short short-term rates for lending at the bank level, but not the long-term lending rates for mortgages. And we knew that the Fed was going to have a rate hike last week, courtesy of the leak. And Jerome Powell really didn't surprise us. Now, here's the thing. The Europeans have now raised their rates for lending, which is seen as positive globally. So right now, mortgage rates are about in the 5.25 range, and some people are buying down the rates by taking cash sums to lower their overall rate. But the thing is that if you are buying down a lower rate and tying up cash in your home, right now I would say cash in the bank, well heck, always cash in the bank is a strong position in any housing market. You may not want to buy down that rate because still think about it, you're still borrowing for under 6%. It's not as free as it used to be. It's still really inexpensive to borrow, and you can probably earn more with that money somewhere else in the market. And I'll leave that one alone because we all have our strategies. Let's talk about our inventory numbers that are now in the 9,000s. Sellers are finding more homes for sale in most price points. So there's no sign of housing market crash in Austin, Texas. Our market is just becoming more balanced. And a well-priced move-in ready house will sell for more. Bidding wars, still a thing if your price is set for this market and your home is ready to sell, move-in ready condition. Sellers, so how you market your home to buyers is more important now than ever because the market is not about putting a sign in the yard or putting it in the MLS and praying for multiple offers or even a decent offer. You want to work with an incredible marketer who knows how to market your home. Nothing cookie cutter about marketing in any market, let alone now that we are more in a more stabilized market. Anyone who tells you that marketing is not a big deal right now, please, I beg you, run. Run. Okay. Austin still remains a seller's market based on the pent-up buyer demands. Period, full stop. So what does this market mean if you are a buyer? Well, if you're buying a home in Austin, Texas, then you need to know that we continue to be in a hot seller's market. Buyers, there's no housing market crash in Austin. Hear me on this one. There aren't enough homes for sale or being built to keep up with buyer demands. The good news, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, is that we are seeing an increase in inventory week over week this past month, and some flexibility is starting to show up on contract terms. We never know when the market has peaked, though, for home prices. We never know when the market has bottomed out. We never know when the market has peaked. So the translation is you cannot time the market. If you're planning on living in your home for the next 5 to 10 years, consider that. You're looking for a home that meets your needs, and it's a long life. It's a long game. And winning is about sleeping in your own bed, in your own home. So if you're waiting for housing prices to come down, consider first how much house you choose to afford each month. And 2, a locked-in rate today is better than an unknown future rate months from now. If rates come down between now and closing on your new home, you're going to get that lower rate. If you buy a home today and rates come down in a year, then you can refinance. In the meantime, if you're renting, all of your hard-earned money has been going to pay someone else's mortgage instead of your own. Waiting does not equal saving in any market. So let's get our home purchasing hats on. And again, this is where my knowledge and skill and strength truly are when it comes to navigating the real estate buying and selling market waters. I can't and won't stick my head in the sand like an ostrich and pretend that our economy isn't at the forefront of your mind. Do you need to sell before you buy? There are strategies for that. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, your most valuable asset, honestly, is your real estate agent, because a great real estate agent is the one who will negotiate the best possible terms for you. So remember, the listing agent is always going to represent the buyer if you're thinking about going direct. Don't do it. Builders are going to represent their best interest. If you want to negotiate against yourself, just go directly with the builder and see what happens. I'm kidding. You need someone in your corner. You're going to leave so much money on the table, I promise you, if you go it alone. And you know what? For the past months and months and months, builders have been listing inventory that we're going to be ready in a year. Right now, we're looking at what's going to be ready in the next few months. So the prices are closer to where they will actually sell for than they've ever been. So they are trying to capture the buyer, and they're doing so at a price point that is now more in alignment with today's market, and it's not a big cash grab. So let's end with this about the Austin, Texas housing market. There are opportunities for buying and selling in every market. And I'm here to serve and answer questions you may have, whether you are a buyer or a seller, and where you need help with strategies. Listen, you can wait. There will continue to be buyer demand. It's not going away here in Austin, Texas. So while our housing prices may have leveled off a little bit, it's going to be more expensive than you think, because if interest rates continue and that cycle has an impact on your housing prices, then you are not any further ahead. So a lot to take in. As always, I like to pack it in. Next week, we'll have another Austin housing market update for you. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this Austin, Texas housing market, the economy, what you're experiencing as you consider where you are living, loving, working, and playing in Austin, Texas. Are you staying put? And if you are thinking about making a move, then there are strategies for you. I'm Jennifer Goodman, living in Austin, Texas, and whether you are thinking about moving in 7 days, 7 weeks, or 7 months, I'd love the opportunity to talk real estate with you and help you make your next best move. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.